The Phenyx Pro PTX15 is a very versatile audio mixer. It can excel in live situations for gigging musicians or karaoke, plus it can be great for emceeing or DJing events, and you can also use it in the studio if you want. In this video, I'm doing an audio mixer review of the Phenyx Pro PTX15. I'm Zane from audiotechtv.com, and on this channel, I do weekly audio tech tips, tutorials, and reviews to help you conquer the tech and unleash your creativity. Now, I've included a link in the description below to the Phenyx Pro PTX15, just in case you want to go and check out more information, you can quickly do that. And I also want to note that Phenyx Pro have sent me this audio mixer in exchange for an honest review. And this is not going to change my opinion of it at all. They want an honest review no matter what, and that's what I'm going to give here. So first, let's open up the box and see what we get inside. Now, this mixer is packaged quite well. You can see here. And inside the box, you get the mixer, a very straightforward manual, and the power adapter. As you can see, this is a 4-channel mixer. You can have a mix of 4 XLR mic inputs or 4 line inputs, and you can mix those around however you like. But you can't have a mic and a line input connected at the same time on the same channel. Each channel features gain control, a basic EQ section here, effects send, pan or balance, and you have your volume fader for each channel at the bottom. The EQ can be decent in live situations where you want to adjust your voice or your instrument's tone a little. The high EQ knob adjusts frequencies at 12 kHz, the mid EQ adjusts frequencies at 2.5 kHz, and the low EQ adjusts 80 kHz. The effects send knob adjusts how much of each channel you send to the effects, and the rest of the channel is pretty straightforward here. Now, over in this section, we have our main outputs that can go to your power amp or powered speakers. You also have your effects send and your return right here, so you can send your mix out to a piece of outboard gear if you want and have it come back in. Or you could just use that as an auxiliary output and have it send to a computer or maybe a monitor mix. You also have your typical RCA record output if you want to record your performance on another device. Then over here you have the USB and Bluetooth input section. This can be great for plugging in canned music in between sets if you're a musician or an MC. It can also be used for backing tracks for solo artists or maybe MCs that want some background music. Or just load up your favorite songs and let it play all night if you're DJing a party. Then if you need to play something that's not on your USB drive, you can connect your phone by Bluetooth and sub it in. This gives you lots of flexibility. You get 16 onboard effects, which I'll test out a few in a bit. Then you also get this 5-band equalizer right here. In live situations, I try to leave it all at 0, and then if I start getting feedback issues, I will adjust the frequencies as needed to try to get rid of some of that feedback. But you can use the EQ however you like. You have your 48-volt phantom power button right here, and this is for mics that require phantom power. This button sends it to all of the channels, and it won't harm anything if you have other mics or devices connected at the same time, but you shouldn't plug in or unplug anything while the phantom power button is on. Be sure to turn the phantom power off, and then you can plug in whatever you want or unplug whatever you want. And down here we have your headphone output, and one of the cool features about the headphone output is you can listen to everything through your headphones like normal, but if you press the solo button here, and then the solo button on one of the tracks or 2 of the tracks, you can preview audio being played through those channels, and that audio will not go to the main output. If you're a DJ, this can be very useful for making sure the next track you're playing flows with whatever you're currently playing. It's also a pretty nice feature to have on a mixer in this price range. Now I'm going to get this connected and we can do some audio tests. Alright, so I have my Shure SM57 microphone connected, which is a mic that requires a lot of gain. And you can see here that the gain knob is pretty much at 9, and that's 9 out of 10. So let's crank it all the way up. And there it is all the way cranked, and you can hear a little bit of background noise there. There might be some added noise because of all the LED lights that I have in this room, plus it's sitting near my computer and all that. So there could be some added hum there, but you can hear there is some background noise. And one of the issues could be because this is made out of plastic, and plastic doesn't shield against the radio frequencies too well, so it could be susceptible to picking up interference. And that is one of the negatives about this board. But it actually doesn't sound too bad with the mic at that level, and this would be very usable in a live situation. So let's play around with the low knob a bit here. And that's turned all the way down, and now we'll turn it all the way up, and you can hear the bass there. Now we'll do the mid. There's the mid all the way up and mid all the way off. And now we have the high EQ, and that's turned all the way up. And here it is turned all the way down. So you can see how that would be useful if you're using this in a live situation. Maybe you're using it to stream with or using it at an event. And that gives you some great tone control right there for your voice and also for an instrument. All right, so now let's listen to how some of the onboard effects sound. And I'm going to start with one, which is delay 1. And what we want to do is make sure we have this. I'm going to set it all the way to the right so it's full affected. And then I'm going to turn this all the way up. And we'll turn our effect slider up. And you can hear delay 1. Now let's go to delay 2. Here is delay 2. And of course, this is pretty extreme. You can adjust how much of it is on there. There is a little bit, but I'm going to go back to full so you can hear the full effect. Now let's go to effect 3. And this is delay 3. This is a double effect. So let's turn that back a bit and see. All right, so if you turn it back a little bit, it might be a little bit useful, but it's pretty extreme. This one is called shimmer. This one is called vocal enhancer. This is vocal enhancer 2. All right, so I'm still talking into the mixer, and all the audio that you're hearing is directly through the mixer. I haven't edited any of it. I may just adjust the levels a bit in case it's too low. So that would be the only editing that I do. So now I want to look at the overall build quality. And like I said earlier, it's built out of plastic, which as a negative, like I said, it can allow radio frequencies in. Also, it could break a little easier than a metal casing. But it is a solid plastic, so it can withstand going on the road with you if you put it in a nice backpack and take care of your equipment. And if you're somebody that doesn't take care of your equipment, maybe you want to get one of these anyway, because if you're not taking care of your equipment, you're going to break a nicer board regardless of the quality of it. And this one is a decent price. Another thing I noticed is the knobs are kind of wiggly. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but they do wiggle quite a bit, so it doesn't feel overly solid. The faders actually feel all right. They're a little loose, but they don't feel too bad. And another thing I noticed is some mixers, they'll have like a little notch at 0, so you know you're at 0 without looking. You can just feel. And all of these knobs, they don't have that sort of notch in there so you can feel where 0 is. You have to eyeball it. Except this graphic EQ here, it does have that notch. So you can adjust this and you can feel when you're at 0. The buttons on it feel pretty good. The effects, I'm not a fan of the effects, but I mean, when are you really going to need those effects in live situations, which this mixer is intended for? Also, I went pretty extreme with those effects. If you dial it back a bit, I'm sure you can get some usable effect in there if you really need that sort of thing. One of the things I do like is you'll notice these faders over here, they have the color coding where these ones are black, and most mixers, all of the faders are black right across there. Now, I'm not sure of this, but I think why these might have some color to them is because when you're doing live events, typically it's in a dimly lit room, and having these different colors will allow you to easily see which is which. This mixer is really designed for live situations, but you could use it in the studio too for routing audio into your computer. You would just connect the main outputs or the recording outputs to the inputs on your audio interface. And of course, if you want to route audio from your computer into it, you can just connect the outputs of your audio interface or your computer to the inputs on the mixer. For the uses that this audio mixer is intended for, it really is a great budget option. It gives you all the features that you would need for DJing, MCing, karaoke, live music performances, or just as a party mixer. It seems like they really thought of the different situations that you might encounter when doing live sound, which makes me think that they've done live sound themselves, or they did their market research really well. Will this work for a whole band? Maybe, if you don't need to mic up the drums or use too many mics at the same time, but it will work great for singer-songwriters and duo performers. And for MCs, DJs, and karaoke stars, this is a great mobile unit to get you started. I sold my PA system so I could buy the computer and the gear to start this YouTube channel, and I've been thinking about replacing it, and this mixer will actually fit in just fine. I have no issues with using it in live situations. Click here to check out more audio tech reviews, or click down here to see what YouTube thinks you should watch next. If you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos from me. Thank you so much for watching. For Simple Green Tech and AudioTechTV.com, I'm Zane. Keep creating, and we'll talk soon.